Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, and it's time to look at some of the unstable spoilers. Oh boy, now we already got the sword and I think like one other card or something, so I won't be covering those. Just the new ones that came out today. Also, I'll have the mechanics in a separate video, so if you're wondering, oh, what does that text mean? How does that mechanic work? Just wait for that video. In the meantime, let's just have some laughs at these hilarious cards. First of all, let's look at the outer coating. What? Since when is it called that? Where did I even get that name? I'm telling you, the unsets are getting inside my head already. The booster artwork plastic outer coating, I don't know. Here's what the boosters look like. We've got a three-headed goblin that looks awesome. I love the font, I love the color, I love the design, I love everything about it. In fact, they're sideways. I don't think I've ever seen that. I'm sure they've done it at some point. Then, of course, we've got a scientist monkey, and I've been saying it for a while. The game needs more monkeys. Monkeys are awesome. And this particular monkey is apparently quite literally a spider monkey because, well, she's got spider legs. It looks like some kind of lemur tail, too, or something. And I recall one of the major, we'll just say, guilds in the game has, as their theme, it's like genetic manipulation and, experimentation, that kind of stuff. And the third one, we've got the greatest villain I've ever seen in anything ever, although he might not be a villain, he might just be like a spy, I don't know. I'm just assuming he's a villain because of the mustache. Anyway, he's looking pretty sharp, but I love the eye holes are in the hat thing. That's just awesome. And whatever guild he's from, wow, they really embrace technology. I mean, he looks like an evil Inspector Gadget. So let's jump right into the cards in no particular order. We've got Ariel Toastmaster. It's an artifact creature cyborg rigger, which we all knew that riggers and contraptions were coming because of, the ongoing joke from the time-traveling alternate timeline, let's all look into the future type set. So this is a colored artifact, which those are actually really rare. I can only think of like Godsend, and I think there's like one other. There might be 2 or 3 others that were like printed ever. But that's just kind of cool by itself. So anyway, it's a 3/2 flyer, and if you pay 4, you sacrifice another artifact. Ariel Toastmaster assembles a contraption, which is one of the major mechanics. So when you think Toastmaster, you're probably thinking, okay, somebody making a toast, or that group called Toastmasters, which, by the way, has almost nothing to do with toasting. It's just like a bunch of people who like to get together and do social things and eat and not play Dungeons & Dragons for some reason. Yeah, I know, I don't get it either. Anyway, nope, she's literally got a toaster on her arm. So this card is downright practical. I mean, it's not like some silly play on words or anything. Like, they're trying to make this like a legit, real playable set that obviously I'm going to assume bends the rules. I haven't really looked at any of these cards yet, by the way. So next up, we've got a card that's borderless instead of silver bordered. I'm going to take a wild guess it's because it's a contraption. Now, contraptions go in a completely separate side deck. I'll explain how that actually works in the video about that, but for now, just know that it doesn't go into your library. It's supposed to be separate. So we got some kind of dolphin-headed looking mammal Wolverine thing. Pretty awesome looking. And hey, look, bees. Ha ha ha, play on words, yay. So it's a mythic rare, which that's pretty wild. And whenever you crank BB gun until the end of turn, target creature gains. Pay 2, activated ability, by the way. This creature fights another target creature. That is pretty powerful. Now, they wanted these to be, like, outrageous, kind of funny, comical, but way reasonable. Not like, destroy a target creature in a game you can see from where you're sitting, which was from another unset. The couple of cards that I took a look at briefly, they look like they're supposed to be reasonably playable in a cube, that you want to add a little bit of fun to, or Commander, because that's such a casual multiplayer, like, who cares who wins format anyway. So a lot of these will seem like very practical playable cards, but they're a little bit, like, out there for, standard play. So I could see why this is a mythic. That is powerful, for real. Next up, we've got one of my absolute favorites already, Dog Snail Engine. That is the creepiest, weird, like, artwork from the 60s thing I've ever seen, or maybe 70s, I don't remember. Who did that? Was it Warhol or whatever? Anyway, it's a dog snail. It's a contraption, so it goes in your contraption deck. It's an uncommon, that's cool. And whenever you crank Dog Snail Engine, target player gains life equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. Oh boy. So in multiplayer, you could actually give life to an ally, I guess you would say. So that's not bad, but remember, I mean, I'm going to make a video about this, obviously, but you can only activate this once every 3 turns, sort of, like in normal play. So no matter how powerful any of these look, just remember 1 in 3 turns. Next up, we're back to the normal cards. That might be a bit of a misnomer. Earl of Squirrel. I just love everything about this, and I already want it. I don't just want it, I need this card. I need this in my life. It has Squirrel Link. Oh my god! Damage dealt by this creature also causes you to create that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Oh, I love it. I almost wish it was like nuts, and then you could sacrifice them to create a squirrel. That would be even better, because then you could like mess with it a little bit. But anyway, that is freaking awesome. They need to make a standard legal version of this. Maybe water it down a little bit, because it seems a little much actually. So it's a squirrel advisor, which makes perfect sense. And creature tokens you control are squirrels in addition to their other creature types. So kind of like a metallic mimic kind of thing. Pretty nice. And other squirrels you control get +1/+1. Okay, this is like the king of squirrels. I know it says Earl, but this is the king. And watch, they'll probably print King of Squirrels. So it is a 4/4 and a cost 6, so it's not coming out immediately. But when this does, oh my gosh. I mean, he just is a self-contained squirrel army. I love it. Oh, and as you can see, since there's 2 up on the screen, there's a promo version of it. I like the original artwork way better, but hey. If this is some kind of like draft participation promo, yeah, I'm all in. Give me one. I need it. So next up, we've got Finders Keepers. That artwork is so amazing. It looks like something straight out of that stupid movie that nobody saw with that guy from Pirates of the Caribbean in it. I'm a little tired right now. So it's a sorcery, cost 6, destroy target creature, then assemble a contraption. Fantastic. And the way that works is put the top card of your contraption deck face up onto one of your sprockets. There's 3 of them. I'll explain it later in a different video. I'm sure I've said that 30 times already. And of course, she's a member of Sneak, or if you're Matthias, you pronounce it Sneak! I can't do it like him. Also, my mic doesn't have dynamic range compression. So honestly, it's a little bit overcosted, but you get a lot of benefit out of it. And remember, it's like an ongoing ability that fires off once per 3 turns. So yeah, you do want to assemble contraptions as much as possible. Now do notice that this can't target an artifact, which is huge because all of the contraptions are artifacts and can be targeted. Next up, we've got another contraption, borderless. I just love that. I love everything about that. Also, I think they have a different back. I thought they mentioned that, so it'll prevent you from shuffling them into your deck. Also, sleeve them in a different color, obviously. So it says whenever you crank Genetic Recombinator, up to 2 target creatures get +2/+2 until end of turn. That is amazing. Also, that Electric Skunk and Eel mixed together would be pretty awesome, so that makes sense. All right, back to the silver borders. We got Hammerfest Boomtacular. That is almost as good as the translation from .hacksign. Leave it down in the comment section if you know what I'm talking about, and if you do, you are awesome. So it's a 5-cost red enchantment, double red. Whenever you cast a spell with a Goblin Explosioneer's watermark, which, by the way, the watermark is literally that watermark behind the text. And they reference watermarks as like a mechanic. And if you're going to put together a cube or a commander deck, then you can use other marked cards, like pretty much everything from Ravnica, I guess, or RTR, I should say. I think every single one of those had a mark. Some of the Phyrexians had a mark. I mean, you can look it up. There's a watermark on quite a bit. Anyway, whenever you cast a spell with Goblin Explosioneer's watermark on it, Hammerfest Boomtacular deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Well, that's kind of nice because I think basically every single card in this entire set has a watermark on it for one of the 5 groups or guilds, or I honestly forgot what they're called. Oh, it looks like they're going with factions this time. By the way, it's Order of the Widget, Agents of Sneak, League of Dastardly Doom, Goblin Explosioneers, and Crossbreed Labs. So that is certainly going to do some damage, that's for sure. Next up, we've got Hangman. It's a 1-cost creature, human villain, and he looks awesome. So when he enters the battlefield, you secretly note a word with 6 to 8 letters, and you're going to have to prove what it is, so you probably have to like write it down on a piece of paper or whatever. Then, if you pay 1, target player who doesn't control Hangman guesses the noted word or an unguessed letter in that word. If he or she guesses wrong, put a 1/1 counter on Hangman. Any player may activate this ability. And as you probably figured, when a player guesses the noted word or all of its letters, sacrifice Hangman. So basically you're playing the game Hangman. That is freaking awesome. Here's the problem. Okay, if you're playing like a multiplayer commander game and you throw him out onto the field, everybody who has 1 untapped land is going to get a guess at it, and they're going to keep hitting them over and over and over until they guess it. And I mean, it's 6 to 8 letters, so in other words, 8 letters, and that doesn't take that many guesses. There's only 26 letters, and at a certain point, they're going to figure out what it is. So I have a couple candidates in mind with 0 repeats to keep them out as long as possible, but it's probably only going to take 10 to 15 mana to get rid of this guy. So if it's just your opponent or just you trying to make it bigger and giving them a shot at it, you'll probably get him pretty big. But if it's multiplayer, he is so gone. Other than that, I mean, a 1/1 for 1 with this ability, that is pretty darn good. Now, the problem is if they guess a letter correctly, he doesn't get the counter, and then they're closer to making you sack him. But other than that, I mean, he's pretty powerful. I could see why he's a rare. He is definitely going to do some damage. Next up in alphabetical order, in case you didn't notice already, is another mythic contraption. Oh boy, whenever you crank Hardhat Area, roll 2 6-sided dice. Hardhat Area assembles a number of contraptions equal to the difference between those results. Oh boy. So this card, when it's on your little sprocket card thingy, will just utterly dominate because, I mean, every time you come across it, you could assemble like a couple contraptions. I'm trying to think what the math would be. I think it's like 2.5 would be the anticipated spread. I don't know. I'm too lazy to do the math, but it could be as much as 5. So you would just take 5 contraptions from off your deck and just slap them down. They're all active. Ta-da. This could get out of control pretty quickly. So next up, we've got Kindly Cognition, and of course, since like everything's a play on word, I think cognition would mean like precognitive or like what would that be? Oh yeah, clairvoyant would be the other synonym for it. So she's a 1/3 for 2, and spells you cast that refer to artifacts or contraptions in the rules text cost 1 less to cast. I love that. That actually, like, if you're playing casual and silver borders are allowed, that would be pretty good in a blue artifact deck. And that's actually better than some Artificer cards I've seen. Actually, she, come to think of it, is an Artificer card. Next up, instead of Midlife Crisis, it's Midlife Upgrade. Awesome. And come on, a Lance? That's weak. You gotta go for a rocket launcher. Anyway, it costs 4. It's a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast Midlife Upgrade, sacrifice X contraptions. Ooh, that's rough. Unless they're irrelevant anymore. I mean, some of them are kind of, one and done, or they're ramper kind of stuff. And then assemble X+1 contraptions. So you'd replace it, like ones you don't need or are irrelevant or don't have targets or are weak, and hopefully just get different ones. So this is pretty awesome. I will say, though, it says as an additional cost. So if somebody counters this, which I don't even know if there's counter spells or spell countering in this entire set, but if they did, your contraptions are gone. That was part of the cost, not part of the effect. So you paid the cost, and then it got countered, and now you probably have no contraption. So watch that. All right, we're getting near the end. We've got Stamp of Approval. I just love the stamp mechanic. It's so funny. It's a 3-cost artifact, and as Stamp of Approval enters the battlefield, choose a watermark, which would probably be one of the 5 that there are, and creatures you control with the chosen watermark get +1/+1. Now, this is like an unaffiliated card. It's not affiliated with one of the 5 factions, so it itself doesn't have watermarks. So not every card in the set has a watermark, just most of them. So this actually is decent. I mean, for 3, it's not amazing. I mean, it's basically a Hall of Triumph, I guess. But hey, every little bit counts, right? So I have a feeling that everybody's going to be drafting and playing mono, which, I mean, if you know anything about draft, that's a problem. When people try to go mono, people are going to win or lose based on random chance and luck. So yeah, and then you get to play color chicken. That's one of the main reasons I really don't like draft. Next up, hey look, a black bordered card. And they're actually printing it in black border, which is hilarious. It's Steam Flogger Boss from, I don't know, that one time shifted thing or whatever. It was the one with the god-awful ugly frame that thank God they got rid of. So other riggers you control have +1 in haste, which actually isn't bad. This is a 3/3 for 4. If a rigger you control would assemble a contraption, it assembles 2 contraptions instead, but it has to be a rigger doing it, not just any effect. So I'm going to go ahead right now and kind of doubt the effectiveness of this card, although if they make enough riggers in red, it would probably work. Next up, we've got Steam Flogger of the Month. Apparently when you're Employee of the Month, they just nail you directly to the wall. This is fantastic. And it is a rigger, so there you go. It's a 3/3 for 5, so it better do something pretty good. When it enters the battlefield, it assembles a contraption for each contraption you control. Ooh, that is pretty good. I can see why they made this a rare. So, I mean, it just doubles the amount of contraptions. So, at a certain point, I mean, if you have like 5 out, boom, now you got 10 instantly. And every single upkeep, you're just going to utterly destroy your opponent. Next up, a mythic from that one people that are black. I don't know, sneak, whatever. I already forgot. Sorcery. Open a sealed magic booster pack, reveal the cards, and put all creature cards revealed this way onto the battlefield under your control. They're zombies in addition to their other types. What? Okay, I'd call this a horribly unfair, stupid, unplayable, gimmicky way to sell packs, but it's a mythic, so it's probably not even going to show up in the entirety of the draft, and it's an 8-cost black sorcery, but it like requires you to have a sealed pack, so I guess start holding your packs from really rare sets that had powerful creatures. I mean, hey, BFZ, why not, right? Or actually, honestly, Ixalan, because of dinosaurs. I mean, why not? Grab a couple at F&M as prize packs and keep them. And so, I mean, you'd probably hit an average of like, it's got to be at least like 5 creatures, maybe more, depending upon the set. And you put them all onto the battlefield immediately. I mean, if you got like a Carnage Tyrant or something, you good. So this card is hilarious. It is like game ending. The mechanic is just out there. And that's a shark and a unicorn. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than this. And finally, the last card, and this is actually like sheer power. Like, this card is insanely good. Water Market. It is a rare land. It comes in untapped, and it taps for 2 colorless, so it's already insane. But you can spend this mana only to cast spells with watermarks, which would be quite a bit in this set. And if you build a watermark cube around it, like, okay, you know, it'd be pretty good. Either way, I mean, this is colorless, and I would just grab it. In a draft, I would absolutely grab it. It's basically an auto grab. If you can ramp up, you can get contraptions on the field and start pounding your opponent almost regardless of the board state. But keep in mind, contraptions are artifacts and they are targetable. So a full-blown board wipe, if that was a thing in this set, that will... Well, I'm sure there's a card that says destroy all contraptions regardless. But yeah, that will set your opponent back a bit. But otherwise, yeah, the first to build up a big, giant, you know, ongoing thing that you don't have to pay mana for, which is basically contraptions, yeah, they're going to have an advantage in the game. So overall, what do you guys think? I mean, this is pretty silly, but I think they're maybe either keeping some of the just outrageously weird cards for the future and just showing you the normal ones to, you know, not scare you, or this set is a bit more practically playable just to increase the value and make people build a cube or build a commander deck, which is what the community is saying, and I think even some of the staff members have said that. They've said in the articles or whatever, yeah, this is what you would do. So I'm feeling a little bit better about the ongoing prices, considering a lot of the lands are $1.50 to $2.50. You might get $1 out of the rest of the pack if people really want these. But the number of people that want them versus the number of people selling them because they're not interested, it's still going to be a little lopsided. But, I mean, these have got to hit a price floor, if anything, just based on shipping. So the singles market to me looks a little bit better now that they're kind of pushing the narrative that you could play over the long term with these. And I mean, if you're playing a casual game like multiplayer Commander, you know, with none of this turn 2 infinite crap, if nobody respects the ban list or any of the rules basically in Commander anyway, might as well use silver bordered cards. So yeah, I'm probably going to build a watermark heavy Commander deck, and I know at least 2 friends that are also going to do it, and I think that'll be a riot. So that means, hey, slight demand, and I don't know, I might actually order some now. I was planning on ordering basically 0. So leave your thoughts about it so far down in the comments section, which I don't know why I say that. That's literally what you do on YouTube. If you don't know that's what the comment section is for, it's for comments, then what are you doing on YouTube? Anyway, watch for my explanation of how contraptions and all the mechanics work and all that. I'll probably be uploading that still today, and I will see you guys next video.